Welcome back, Java. How are you, man? Are you staying warm?
I think I'm a little warmer than you are this morning, man. You got your
Well,
gloves on, your hat, your scarf.
I got my I got my wool cap, I got my scarf on, I got my gloves. I got a background here for folks who are watching on the live stream of my garden, all the bottle trees covered with snow. So even though we're not in North Mississippi, which is getting slammed right now, we're with you in spirit and we're dressed up as if we were out there trying to garden in all this mess.
Yeah, I've been looking at some pictures from North Mississippi, the Oxford area, and yes, it is a blanket of snow. We didn't get it, further south, but North Mississippi, it's happening right now.
It's happening, and but at the same time, for the next hour, we could talk about it. I know a lot of folks are worried about their plants. A lot of folks are not worried about their plants. I mean, I'm not worried about mine. If it gets down to 9, 10 degrees, it's done it before. As a matter of fact, Java, a lot of people in gardening identify them, like, hi, I'm Java. I'm from Jackson, I'm from so and so. I live in the Ozarks. They say, hi, I'm so and so, and I'm in zone 8. Gardeners identify themselves as being from a certain zone, and zone in the big picture only means one thing, and that's how cold it's going to get in the winter. And folks, this is what it means when you say I'm in zone 7 or zone 8 or zone 9. This is what it means. So if you're proud of being from zone 7, embrace this because this is what it's all about. I'm taking my gloves off. It's because I'm indoors, you're indoors too. But anyway, no, Java, they have this USDA zone maps. Country is broken up into weather zones depending on how cold it gets on average in the wintertime. Zone 10 never freezes. We're talking about Miami and San Diego. Zone 9, Florida. Gulf Coast, Corpus Christi, may get down in the 20s, occasionally frost, but that's about it. But zone 7 and 8 means it gets down on average to the teens in the wintertime. And that's exactly what it's doing here. We're getting down to the teens. I've always said for a long time, zones really don't matter that much because zones don't take into account how hot it gets in the summer or how dry it gets or whether it's humid and 85 degrees at 3 in the morning in August. It doesn't deal with 6-inch rainfalls. It only deals with cold temperatures on average in the winter. And we're right in the middle of what they call zone 7 and 8, like it or not.
Yeah, my barber, he often talks about what zone he's in because he farms a little bit, has some land out in Utica, and he is
Yeah.
always talking about, yeah, my zone, and this is what I'm supposed to do this time of year.
It is. But, a lot of people say, well, do I need to cover them up in perennials and vines and bulbs? If they normally grow in Mississippi, they can take the zone. If there's something they normally don't grow, it's like a favorite you got, or you brought it back on vacation, or it reminds you of back home, wherever that is. If you're growing a plant that's not normally adapted to Mississippi, you may have to treat it accordingly. There are a lot of plants that they can take freezing weather, but they can't take sudden freezes after what was it, 70 degrees last week?
Yeah,
And now it's
that's
down.
I always look at the sudden shock. One day it was 70, and then later, or one afternoon it was 70, and then later that evening it was like 32.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, well, the 30s and even 20s, they're not a big deal for Mississippi. So folks who are listening, you're worried about your figs, your hydrangeas, your whatever. If you're worried about that kind of stuff, this ain't bad. If it gets down to mid-teens or below, that's when we start seeing trouble with plants that normally can take this kind of winter. So unless it gets down to the mid-teens, I wouldn't worry about that stuff at all. And we could talk about it. And I know a lot of folks have got things on their minds they want to chat about, and I'll be glad to get in detail. But in general, relax. So far, this ain't that big a deal. It's rough, but as far as our gardens are concerned, this is normal. So you say we got a calls, Java?
Yeah, we do have a first caller for the hour, and it is Pearl in Brandon.
Hey, Pearl, how you doing? You're so close to Pearl.
True enough. Thank you, Mr. Uh, Rushing. I have a question, please, sir. I purchased two small cedar trees after Christmas, half off at one of the stores here in Brandon.
Right.
And they did look pretty good. And I left them in the sun, and I put some this loose stuff, plant food. I mixed it rather strongly, perhaps. But anyway, I mixed some plant food up, and I kept them moist. But they're looking poorly. I brought them from the garage into the house, and perhaps can I transplant them into larger vessels so that they might have a chance of surviving?
Well, it really depends. When you say cedar, is there a particular type of cedar? Is it our native red cedar, which a lot of garden centers don't sell, but is it a real cedar? Or is it something just called cedar? It looks like a little kind of a golden, real feathery looking, little conifer looking thing.
No, sir. This is real. I believe. Don't know, but I believe they are real cedar.
If it's a real cedar, it needs to be outside right now. Cedar trees are native. They grow outside. They need cold weather. They can take it. A lot of Christmas tree growers plant little small cedars and trim them into Christmas trees. But they grow along the roadside, along the interstate. They're all around that area. Over by the county extension office, that quarry. There's a whole, cedars, they like it outside. What they don't like is the inside because it's warmer than they want to be and low humidity. And, our homes are really low humidity, and that causes leaves to dry out, and misting doesn't really help. So what I would do, maybe put in a little bit bigger pot if you want to, but put them outside. Give them a good soaking. Let them freeze. If it's a real cedar, it needs to freeze.
Oh, well, thank you. Shall I transplant? Excuse me. Shall I transplant them inside and then put them outside, or should I transplant them outside?
Whatever's most comfortable for you. If you transplant them outside, you can need to wear some gloves because that potting soil is going to be cold. But the main thing, if it's a real cedar, and again, there are some plants that are called cedars that are not real cedars. So I'm assuming that it's a regular eastern red cedar, which is a type of juniper. But if you're able to, take a good picture of it and send a picture to garden@mpbonline.org. If you do it over the next few minutes, Java can show it to me.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. And give me that address again.
Garden@mpbonline.org.
Thank you.
You bet. Let's have fun. Hey, if you do put it outside, put some Mardi Gras beads on it. Make it feel pretty.
Thank you, Pearl, for calling this morning. Felder, we do have another caller on the line, but I do want to say good morning to some of our YouTube viewers. We have people from Tylertown, Walthall County checking in. We have Coahoma County checking in, Lincoln County saying hello, and they're enjoying the show this morning.
Well, they can see me and they can see me and you in our cold weather gear, huh?
Yeah, they can. Also, we just got a question. It said, should we be concerned about cedar rust? I want to grow some apples, but have lots of cedar out in Lincoln County.
That's a really good question. And let's go ahead and answer that before we go to the phone call. Cedar apple rust is a fungus that spreads from cedars to members of the rose family, apples, pears, crab apples, things like that, and back to cedars, back and forth. It doesn't spread until springtime. The cedars will have this little jelly-like stuff on it, and it spreads from those to your apple and pears and crab apple trees, leaves little spots and comes back. It's normally not a real big problem. There are some varieties of fruits that are resistant to cedar apple rust. There's also a spray you can use that you spray when the cedars have got that little jelly-like mass and they're spreading the spores in the spring. You can spray your plants. It's not a poison. It's a protective film that protects it for the whole year with one or two sprays. But there are the fungal spores that spread from cedar trees to members of the apple family can blow for a mile or more. So there's no way to get away from it. unless you grow you may never have a real problem with it. But if you do one year, you can spray the next year. And again, it's not a poison, it's a spray for cedar apple rust. So we say we got a phone call?
Yeah, let's talk with Scott in Jackson before our first break.
Hey, Scott, good morning. How you doing?
Fine, sir. Hey, hi, sir. I have a question. Arbor Day sent me a pear tree in the mail a couple of days ago. I know the weather is cool and everything. What should I do with it?
Oh, do you know what type of pear it is?
I don't. I just remember ordering it. I don't. I'm not at home right now, but
Yeah.
I really don't. I keep your email when I get home.
Yeah. Well, the first thing is, regardless of whether it's a good variety or not, it needs to be planted. They like as soon as you can get it. I would put it outside, water it. If this bare root, put some potting soil or bark around the roots and keep it moist. But it would rather be outside than inside, as long as the roots don't freeze. And then as soon as you get a chance to plant it, a couple of other things. When you put it in the ground, if it's more than about knee high, cut it back to 3 or so feet tall. Cut it back, let it branch back out closer to the ground. That way it'll be strong and sturdy the rest of its life. So definitely cut them back. The reason I'm asking what variety, a lot of pears do well in Mississippi. Some do better in Tennessee or Kentucky. They need colder winters than we have. Some do better on the coast. And some need 2 different pears for cross-pollination. Some don't. So unless we know what the name of it is, it's going to be a guess whether it's going to be able to flower and fruit here or whether it needs pollination from another pear. If you're not sure, go to a garden center and look for a variety called Orient pear. Orient and Kiefer, both of them have been around a long time. They're really good for all parts of Mississippi, and they'll pollinate whatever other pear you've got. Even so, Orient or Kiefer would be good. Anyway, go ahead and plant it, cut it back to about knee high, thigh high, and put some mulch around the base to keep the mower off it, and it should be fine.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex. Bye-bye.
All righty. Java, how we doing, man?
We're doing fine, man. We're rocking and rolling this morning. We had a couple other people check in on YouTube. Let's see, Ocean Springs. And I don't know if this is Harrison, Virginia, or if they just forgot to put the C in front of Harrison for Charleston, Mississippi.
Yeah, there we go. And by the way, I'd appreciate if anybody is watching on the live stream, I'd appreciate if you give us a call and tell us what it looks like, because this is new for me. I'm a boomer. I'm not used to this kind of stuff, and I'm curious about how well it's working. Java, you have great faith. You and the tech guys back in the booth back there, y'all know what you're doing, but I don't.
It looks good, Felder. It looks good.
All righty. So anyway, we're going to take a real quick break. Come back with more of the Gestalt Gardener right after this.
Support for MPB comes from Robin and John Cock of Clarksdale, who encourage
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturist Felder Rushing, taking your phone calls. It's live here on Mississippi Public Broadcast, and me and Java and the tech folks back in the back. If you want to give us a call, it's toll free 1-877-MPB ring. We'll talk with you about your garden. I know that it's cold in North Mississippi, snowing and ice. I know you've had a lot of rain. I stay on top of the weather, even though I'm in England right now. And by the way, since we were on the air last week, Java, I said, "Ooh, this is so nice out here and all." It's been nothing but snow and ice for the past solid week, and it is good. Matter of fact, I've got a picture of the guys can throw up there of plants in my English garden. I've got a little small garden out back that's full of succulents, and usually it's got all these cute little sedums and sempervivums. It's got a little gnome and stuff in there, but all it is, and I've got some little blue bottles on sticks, and everything's covered in snow. So I'm with you, even though I'm not Mississippi. I'm with you. As a matter of fact, in my own garden, I've got a picture of my truck garden in the snow. This was from last year, I think, but my truck garden is designed to have cold weather tolerance. If it gets really, really cold in Mississippi and you're worried about your plants, you might be growing the wrong kind of plants because ain't no way I can cover my truck up. I don't have a garage. And also, I have pictures of my bottle trees in the snow. This is the best time of year to have bottle trees in your yard, whether they're blue or solid green or all different colors. Bottle trees are at their best when they got a little sun glinting through them and they're covered with snow and ice. So this is the time of year where bottle trees, first of all, will make you smile in the wintertime, give you some color to keep your pineal gland kind of pumped up, and gives a place for the birds to perch. But it's just a cheery thing out there. So anyway, this is the weather for us bottle trees to really love what we got out in the garden.
Now, I know, Felder, you was talking about this when you first got on. It may not be a lot to do in the garden, especially while it's snowing in North Mississippi. But the one thing you can do is go out and get some great photographs, just like you did. Like, this is just the time to take those pictures. Sometimes in the South, we can get a little envious of maybe the Northeast where they have snow on the regular, or Michigan or Chicago and things like that. But now is the time. Go out right outside your door and get some nice photographs that you can hold and remember.
Well, matter of fact, here's a picture I sent to y'all to put up there of my grandmother's concrete chicken in the snow. I've got her on a little stand, like it's called a plinth. It's the bottom part of an old broken bird bath. The bird bath broke, but I kept the post. I got Granny's chicken on it. It's right beside a shrub called mahonia with yellow blooms, and it always blooms in January. See, so if you're worried about plants not making it, if you can't wait till spring, there's some really cool stuff we have right now in Mississippi that blooms or has textures or colors in the wintertime. And if all worst comes to worst, you can put a chicken on a stick in your yard. Hey, do we have any callers, Java?
Not yet, but we have a lot of people checking in on YouTube. They are really enjoying everything. And I did get confirmation from Pamela in Harleston or Halston. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's in Mississippi, north of Hurley. We also got Hazelhurst checking in this morning. This is a great comment. Beth in South Central Missouri is checking in. She's a boomer as well, Felder, and she says she loves the broadcast and enjoying it on YouTube.
Well, Java, I'm a longtime member of the Garden Writers Association. There's a lot of people who do what we do. My friend Walter Reeves from Georgia, Joe Gardner. There's people all over the country who do what we do, but they all try to be smarter than I am. I'm just trying to be real here. I'm just trying to keep it real, not trying to finesse anybody with horticultural information. Let's talk about what's really going on in your garden and what can we actually do about it. And by the way, there's a bag of stuff that I left for you. When we get a chance, you need to open up one of those bags of things that I left for us to talk about while I'm in England.
Yeah, we are coming up on our halftime show of the break, and I will say the cheesy tune that you chose for this morning is so appropriate.
it's a little bit of a mashup. Some of it irritating. And by the way, let me a little quick note here. This is not gardening, but it's about my heritage. Okay, something cool happened this past week. The Rushings have been in the South since the 1650s. We've been here a long time. Here's a little story about how we got here. We made it to South Carolina and then to what's now Mississippi 200 years ago, early 1800s. Anyway, I went to a pub the other day in a town called Bolton, Lancashire, and I went to a pub and I'm not making this up, Ye Old Man and Scythe. It's got a guy on the front with one of these, wheat cutting thing, a scythe. It's the fourth oldest pub in England, been brewing and selling cider for over 800 years. I mean, you can even see parts of the original timber from the 12th century, and it was modernized in 1636. It was fixed up in 1636. Anyway, right out front of this, there was a big battle that happened in the 1640s when the Parliament was trying to overthrow the king. They called the English Civil War. It was a real big thing. And 2,000 soldiers, civilians were killed right in front of this pub. But anyway, the guy that was in charge of a guy named James Stanley, the Earl of Derby, he's the Earl of the Isle of Man, a little island between Ireland and England, Scotland. He was served his last pint there and hanged right out the front door of this pub I was going to.
What?
They got drawings of it and everything. They have the chair that he sat in for his last beer before they hanged him. The Earl of Derby. Anyway, because he was a royalist, some of his soldiers were arrested and sent to America, including the Rushings from the Isle of Man, which is why I'm in America today. So I had a pint at the place where the Earl of Derby, who thanks to him, we lost and got sent to America. Thanks a lot.
Now that is a true history
I sent a
lesson.
pic- if you're streaming, I've sent a picture of a painting that was done in 1590s of this place that I had a beer at yesterday. A
That
place
is
that's 150 years older than our country.
that
But you know
is
what?
wow.
Nice thing about England in the wintertime, at least the beer is warm.
Before we go to break and get into our cheesy tune, we did have a question from Pamela out there in on the coast. There, let's see. Question: the area in my side yard that is sprayed with filtered water that is from our septic system seems like a practical and sustainable place to plant a garden. Question: is the water too toxic?
Yes, it's not that the water is toxic, but it's got bacteria and stuff that you don't want on your vegetables.
So I guess that's an emphatic no.
That's an emphatic no, because even though septic, it's been filtered and all like that, unless the water has gone through some treatment, that and they do that. A lot of the water treatment, sewage treatment plants in America, including in Jackson and Clinton, is treated so as put it back out in the rivers and all. It's actually, you can drink it coming right out of it, but coming right from a septic thing, no, it'll have bacteria that you do not want to spray on edible stuff.
And Pamela said, thank you in the comments.
Either that or just wash it really good and brush your teeth when you're through eating.
I don't even think you want to take those type of chances, man.
I can't wait to hear this cheesy tune. I put this a little mash up, and part of it is irritating, but let's do that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and toss to our break, Felder, and then I'm going to get to the cheesy tune.
Okay, I'm horticulturist Felder Rushing. I'm not a know-it-all. I've learned some stuff, both at the university and from experience and from y'all. Be glad to share it with you. I know some of you are concerned about what's going to happen after this cold weather and what you could be doing. If you want to give us a call, fine. Otherwise, email me, garden@mpbonline.org. I'll go to Mississippi Gardening on Facebook. Even if you don't like Facebook, Mississippi Gardening is a safe place. And there's a lot of good gardens. There's several horticulturists on there, including Mississippi State horticulturists. So Mississippi Gardening on Facebook, you get instant results from people who are out there with you gardening. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break, do some cheesy tune, and me and Jive are going to come right back with more of the Gestalt Gardener right here on Mississippi Public Broadcasting. cultures fell to rushing, and yeah, it's pretty rough weather. Those of you who are not getting rain are getting snow or ice, and if you're not getting snow or ice, you're getting rain. But again, this is what makes us zone 7 and 8 and even 9. This kind of weather. So. All righty. Hey, let's go. We're here to talk with folks about what's going on in your garden. And if you'll give us a call, the lines are open, 1-877-MPB ring. Who we got on the line, Java?
Let's go to what's it, South Haven, and talk with Rebecca.
Rebecca, you getting enough snow and ice?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hopefully it'll only last for a day.
Right. So we're getting a little bit of echo.
Could that be because I have YouTube on? Or?
Wait. I'm sorry, I didn't hear. We got a little bit of an echo there. What was that again?
Well, I just wondered if it was because I had YouTube on.
Oh, it might be. I don't know. But if it's but can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. It looks like it went away. It looks like.
Yeah, we figured it out. It was a one button push. Sorry about that, Rebecca. Go ahead with your question.
Okay. You were the first, good. You were the first, and we just figured it out thanks to you.
Okay. Well, succulents. There was one that my mother could grow, and I promise you, she could grow it in a plastic sherbet tub, and it looked like dust from under the swing set that she was growing it in. And I never could figure out the name of it because everybody else grew jade plants and hen and chicks and all this, and I finally found it's a ghost plant.
Yeah,
and,
that's a good. By the way,
you already.
Yeah, what about it?
Okay, you already answered this on Facebook, but I just can we go over this again because I've killed so many of them. I could have left it outside.
Yeah, this ghost plant, and by the way, there's several different plants that are called hen and chicks. Any kind of succulent where the leaves fall off and they grow into new plants. There's one from up north that's called hen and chicks, a whole different plant. But the one that's called hen and chicks in our part of the country is also called ghost plant. The Latin name is Graptopetalum, and they grow in cemeteries. Now they may not take 5 degrees, but mine have been outside through 9 degrees in Jackson. So they can take it. I would always bring some pieces of it inside just in case, but it can certainly take down into the teens.
Okay, so what I'm trying to figure out is how are you supposed to handle them? Somebody said don't kill them with kindness. Because I've killed bunches of them.
That's right. Succulents, think of cactus as the type of succulent. There are a lot of other succulents besides cactus. They don't like to stay wet. They don't like to stay dry for a year at a time. They like bright light, not necessarily hot sun, but they can take some sun. But the main thing is it's real easy to rot them with too much water, or if your potting soil is real heavy. Your mother had a really good, well-drained potting soil. So if you want to start some little ones in pots, either cuttings off of the main stem, or even the individual leaves will grow little plants off the bottom of them. Get you a potting soil that's got that white, crunchy perlite. It looks like little pieces of popcorn in it that helps for extra drainage. You can water it more if it's got perlite because the extra water drains out. And you can let them get dry between soakings. I have some growing in pots in my garden in Jackson. And, I'm in England all winter long. Mine are sitting outside in whatever kind of weather comes along, and they take it just fine. They're also out all summer, and if it doesn't rain, they don't get watered, and they still take it. So I wouldn't push them to the limits of utter neglect, but as long as you don't overwater them, then a well-drained soil, and as long as you bring a few little pieces of it indoors, if it's going to get out in the mid-teens, they'll do fine outside. I've been growing these forever. They grow outside in Memphis at the Botanic Garden.
Really? I had to go up there and see them.
When you go to the Memphis Botanic Garden, when you first pull into the parking lot, they've got a whole parking island that's covered with cactus and agaves and all kind of succulents. And they're just growing in a parking lot in Memphis with no care at all.
It's got to be hot. It's got to be hot when it is hot.
But the main thing is these plants are hardy outdoors in Oklahoma, and it's hot out there. So anyway, I always keep a few little pieces because they root real well, little short stems or some leaves indoors are some of my favorites, just in case something happens while I'm grasshoppers or something comes along. So I always try to keep a few pieces as spares. Same thing with rosemary for that matter.
Yeah, I should have done that because I killed the rosemary too. It got down to 5 degrees, and the rosemary said, "I'm too far away from the house. Bye."
That's right. But you can root, they grow roots in 2 weeks in water. So I always try to keep a few of my favorite plants, little piece of over the winter, just in case. And if my big ones make it, I give the ones that rooted away to other folks. It makes me sort of like an accidental hero, I guess.
Right. Well, I did start a bunch of them off of leaves, and it was slower than I thought it would be. It was in September, and
Yeah.
they made little pups. And something I heard said they live off the mother leaf until the mother leaf dies, and then they're living off their roots. And
Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens. They get their moisture from what's in the mother leaf, and it takes a while. But if you send me a publication, if you email me, I've got a little brochure I put together. It's a free brochure, and I send this to a lot of people. It's called Cold Hardy Succulents, the kind of succulents that will grow outside, even in Memphis, all the way to the coast, no care at all. Really, and I got pictures of them too. So if you want to send me that, an email, I'll send it to you.
okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Felder, and you have a great day.
Okay, stay warm.
All right. Bye-bye.
What's up, Java?
We got a couple comments before we go to Shelley and Gulfport on the phone from YouTube. We got people are checking in from Hazelhurst, and also a question. Rebecca in Hazelhurst, she wants to know. I think I maybe asked this a couple weeks ago, but what can we do with leftover poinsettias? Poinsettias.
Yes, that's a good question. As a matter of fact, if you go on YouTube or msucares.com, our friend Eddie has got a whole little TV thing he put together, Southern Gardening, on caring for holiday plants. Basically, the older leaves are going to fall. They're just going to fall. This is the plant that grows outdoors in Mexico, and indoors, low light, low humidity. Gradually, the older leaves will shed. Don't worry about it. If you'll just snip some of the stems back, just snip them back. Don't worry about it. They will sprout back out with new growth, just like a rose will. And that new growth will be healthy and fuller. Give it some sunshine. Put it maybe in a south window. And this summer, put it out where it gets some real sun or real humidity. Make it think it's in a big pot in Mexico, and it'll grow fine outdoors all year. But after the leaves drop, just snip, even before then, snip some of those stems back. And by the time they root out and sprout out, you cut the others back so you don't have to have it all naked all at one time. So anyway, just snip it back, give it a little water. Don't keep it too wet, and a sunny window, and they'll do fine.
Also, I want you to say a big hello to Brenda. She is a recent transplant from the New Orleans West Bank to Mississippi, and this is her first time tuning in to the show, and she is really enjoying herself.
Well, great. I'm who is Dan Gill. She was used to listen to a guy in Louisiana named Dan Gill, and Dan's great. He's nicer than I am, and he knows more than I do. But me and Dan get along great. We're just different types of horticulturists. And so anyway, appreciate it. If you got some questions, shoot us an email, garden@mpbonline.org.
Now let's go to Shelley in Gulfport on the phone.
Hey, Shelley, good morning.
Good morning.
What's up?
I've heard you talk about weed control in our yards, and you talk about putting out some type of weed killer during January.
Right.
Is it available now, and what would we be looking for? Is it a granular, a spray, or what?
Yeah, good question. A lot of people put out what they call pre-emerge before the weeds sprout, and it kills the seedlings as they sprout. Way too late for that. Once the plants start growing, you have to use a post-emerge, and sprays always work better. Sprays get better coverage. They're safer. They're quicker. They're more effective. And by the way, no to weed and feed. Even on the Gulf Coast, you need to wait till the grass had been mowed a time or two. We're looking at April before you fertilize the lawn. The commercial people are not going to tell you this. I'm a turf guy. I studied this at Mississippi State. LSU says the same thing. Wait till April to fertilize. But you can get a liquid spray at any garden center. If it says it'll control dandelions and clover, it'll control those and stickers and other weeds too. But a nice warm week in January or early February, you can spray a liquid that's good for dandelions or clover. And if you want the best control, spray twice about a week apart. Don't overdose. Just a good light spray a couple of times a week apart. Anything for clover and dandelions will get rid of stickers and clover and wild onions, those kind of things. It'll control most of your weeds.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Hey, appreciate your call. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's stay on. Well, no, let's go a little bit higher than the Gulf Coast. Let's go to Hattiesburg and let's talk with Tom.
Morning, Tom. What's up, man?
Hey, good morning, Felder. It's good to hear you. Keeping us happy with these cold in the wintertime spirits, so appreciate that. But you had a caller call in one time about his sweet gum trees growing up in his garden and getting them out. And I don't know if I'm allowed to give a product a name, but I guess I'm going to go ahead and do it. But it's a grandpa weeder stick. Really works well. I've had a lot of them. I usually do it after a good rain, too, get out there and it helps pull them up easier so you don't have to, hurt your back too much doing it.
This is sort of like a fancy pry bar.
It is. It kind of pinches whenever you pull. It's got a lever on it, and you pull. It's pretty simple to use. You put it in and push it in.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Now, I didn't catch the name of but this is basically something that you can while you're still standing up, you can pry small tree seedlings out of the ground, privet and sweet gums and mimosa and stuff like that. So what did you call it?
Grandpa's weeder stick.
Grandpa weeder stick.
Yeah.
I can use that. I'm a grandpa. I can use it.
I think my mother-in-law got one, and I've used it a lot, and it works real well.
Not to get personal. Have you got children?
Just one child.
So okay. The reason I'm saying this because your mother-in-law is a grandma, so it's grandpa's weeder stick.
I can relate to that.
There you go. Anyway, so that's a good idea. Any kind of pry bar that works, but if they've got something that works even better than a big long screwdriver, I'm all for it. I'm tired of wrapping things around my hand and trying to pull them out and just squeezing my hand. Anyway, that's a good tip, man.
These things are a mess. But I got another question. I got some more out in the wooded area. There's some persimmon trees that have been there, American persimmons that have been there. And I used to think that there's two different types because these things are like 45 feet tall. I mean, they're just straight up, just about. And I used to get persimmon. Yes, sir.
You talking about the persimmons?
Yeah.
Yeah, persimmon. Yeah. Our native persimmon. Japanese persimmons are short. They're wide like a dogwood. And they got big persimmons. Our native persimmons are actually pretty good sized trees. I mean, they could get trunks, 2 feet around. The only real drawback to native persimmons is they are separate male and female trees. You have to have females to have persimmons. They'll only have persimmons if they get pollen from a nearby male. So, moving a wild native one or growing from seed for your yard may not make persimmons, separate male and female. So I recommend for home gardens to use some of the Japanese persimmons. They're pretty and they're real productive, and you can eat them without worrying about them puckering your mouth up.
Yeah, they will. But I used to get, persimmons off of them, but they've been dying out. A couple of them have died already. There's about 4 trees, and so I think I've got like 2 left. And the bark is coming off on the bottom of them, like it's kind of coming off and stuff. It probably would be okay just to cut. I mean, it's no telling what's going to happen with them. But I mean, if I cut them right on down to the ground, you think something will spurt out around the side of it?
A lot of trees, if you cut them back, they do sprout back out. Some that irritates you. You can't get rid of the sprouts, but go ahead and give it a try. Not going to hurt. But anyway, appreciate the call, and especially the tip about Grandpa's weeder stick. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, Tom, appreciate that call. I felt to want to dial back because maybe I'm lost with that weeder stick. What are we trying to do? Get the sweet gum tree out to move it to a different spot, or what are we trying to
Okay,
do?
now that you're a homeowner, you you can have little all around the edge. You have plants I call privet. You got plants sprouting up back there. And the ones that come up where you don't want, you try to pull them up and they don't want to pull up, they pull back. And if you try to pull hard, they're just going to wrench you back. So what you do is this is the pry bar is sticking the ground beside it, and you pull and lift and it just sort of pops it out of the ground. And that's just to get rid of them. A weeder stick.
Oh, okay. So a weeder stick. Okay, yeah. So you considering it a weed? So you
It's a fancy pry bar.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Now I get it. And it's when you want to get rid of something, you just pull it up
Yeah.
and just to get
Yeah.
it out. Okay. Okay. Well, let's go back to the Gulf Coast. On the phone, we have Hugh calling in from the Gulf Coast.
Morning, Hugh. What's up?
Yes, good morning. I heard you guys talking about succulents and such from the Southwest, and I was wondering if you could recommend a tree from the Southwest or a pseudo-Southwestern tree for South Mississippi along the Gulf Coast.
Oh yeah, there's several you can grow, and they don't have to be from the Southwest. A lot of these are native even to parts of Mississippi along the Gulf Coast and East Texas. But one of my favorites, and there's several I can name on the top of my head, but one of my favorites is called Texas sage. It's not a sage plant. It's called Texas sage. It's a large shrub, small tree. It's got gray-green leaves and the prettiest little lavender flowers you've ever seen in the fall. But Texas sage it grows in a parking lot island better than it grows in a flower bed. And I plant one with my other succulents, but Texas sage. I'd have to look up the Latin name for it. I can't remember, but Texas sage, it's got gray-green leaves, really, really tough, does well in a good dry place, does fantastic. Even it'll grow outside in Memphis, do even better on the coast. And there's some others. I can't remember off the top of my head because I'm just, I'm kind of woohoo with the radio thing. But if you want to send me an email, I've got a list of really good hardy succulents and a few other plants that do great that are kind of succulent type things.
Okay, I have a few succulents, and I thought, I was in the Southwest for a long time, and I thought, well, if I could recreate that with some of the succulents I have, and I heard you say, you gave the address, mpbonlinegarden.org or something like that.
Well, you got all the words right, but in the wrong order.
Okay.
Garden at mpbonline.org. It's a cool little publication I put together just last year of really good hardy succulents, and I've got examples of them all mixed together where it looks like something Disney did that you could do in your own yard.
Okay, the Texas sage. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, I think it starts with LEU, Luco, so I can't remember that kind of stuff. By the way, I worked at a garden center down in Corpus Christi for a while. Back, we're talking about 50 years ago. So that's where I got my love for these things. Anyway, appreciate your call, man.
Yeah, thanks for calling, Hugh. And Felder, I don't know, we may have to just cut the phones off one day and just do an all email show because we've been getting a lot of emails, but it's kind of hard to get to them and shuffle along the phones and stuff. But if you have an email question that you want to send, garden at mpbonline.org. You can email it in and we can try to get to it.
By the way, I got a weird thought for this week.
Go shoot.
It's weird to think that nighttime is the natural state of the universe. Daytime is only caused by a nearby radiating ball of flame.
We have another phone call for the end of the show. It's Scott in Hattiesburg.
Hey, Scott, how you doing, man?
Hey, morning, Felder, or whatever time of the day it is over there. I guess you're about afternoon or early evening.
It's almost 4 in the afternoon when I get off the air. I'm going to put on a coat and go get me a pint of warm beer because it's cold outside.
I was figuring to say it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so it's bound to be about that time over there, happy hour time, whatever.
What you got going on?
Happy New Year. I don't know if you got to see the Ocean Springs band. It was there for New Year's Day, but I did. They were there for yeah.
Two of the greatest band events of the new year was Ocean Springs band. They were it was incredible what they did, right here in London, right down in London, but also the Jackson State Band at the Pasadena Rose Parade. Wow, did they blow everybody away, Java, or what?
Oh, you know it. I love Sonic Boom of the South.
And the boom, the boom. Anyway, no, I did see the Ocean Springs Band in London.
Hey, pray for those folks in Pasadena. They're having a rough time of it now. And all that L.A. area, they're really under the gun, and we need to really reach out to them however we can, because they're in the crosshairs of a major tragedy, disaster right now.
Snow and ice is normal in January in Mississippi, but those kind of fires, they may be normal out in the West, but they ain't normal for Pasadena. So anyway,
I'm glad you got to see the band tribute, because it was a great tribute to the Crown over there, and they did it last year for their show. My grandson was in the band over there last year. He moved, and he might be moving back to Ocean Springs for his senior year. But either way, he's real closely connected to that band, and they really dipped a lot of effort into getting over there, and England sent about 10 people over here to officially invite them to come, and all. So it was a real big deal.
That was good. Well, Java and I are both old bandsmen. We were in a band and all, and we appreciate it. But anyway, thanks for your call, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you right quick about fig trees. You're the expert, and my son has got one. I don't know if it's Celeste or brown turkey. I'm not sure how I can tell, but he's just let it go to the birds. And I said, you need to cut that thing back. And he said, well, I don't know when. I said, well, I know who to ask. And I said, you can Google it, but I'd rather ask Felder sometime to see, because I know it's got two different times of growth, based on old growth and new growth, and he wanted to maximize what it would do.
Okay, we're getting sort of the end of the program, son. Let me give it to you in a nutshell. Keep in mind that I picked figs. My children have picked figs off of their great-great-grandmother's fig trees. So I've been around figs, been making fig preserves since I was 10. Figs are flowers and not fruits, and they're produced on what grows this year, as long as what grows this year came off of some of last year's stems. You can cut a fig to the ground, it'll sprout right back out, but it'll skip a year blooming. So if you want to get it back into shape, cut some of it almost to the ground and leave some of it unpruned, so it only has some figs this year. The next year, cut what it didn't prune back. You can do it in stages, what I'm saying. But as long as you follow the tip from the stem from the tip all the way back to where it started last spring, 2024 growth, as long as you leave some of that, what grows off of it will have figs. So from the tip back to where it started back spring, leave some of that and cut some of it to the ground and let it start back over. No problem. It's like trying to get rid of a crepe myrtle tree or a privet by cutting it down. You can't do it. The more you cut it, the more it sprouts.
Appreciate that call, Scott, and appreciate you bringing back the Ocean Springs Band, because, like Felder said, there was two big band events on separate parts of the globe that highlighted Mississippi. So thanks.
And Java, the Ocean Springs, Mississippi Band and the Jackson State Boom both made the news in England.
You got to love it, man. Mississippi, the birthplace of America's music.
Yeah, well, and plus our kind of music. It's so funny, England is about the only place on earth other than Mississippi where being from Mississippi is cool. They always say something in Mississippi. I say, all y'all. And they say, what?
They love it. They love it.
Anyway, we didn't get around to your bag of goodies. We have to do that next week. Bag number 6.
Yeah, because we had it was the perfect bag too. With the what is that, a soil thermometer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, it's my compost thermometer. I'm kind of geeky. I just have a leaf pile, but I have a thermometer because I'm curious. I have a rain gauge because I don't trust the Weather Channel studs. I don't know how much it rained in my yard. And the only reason people up in North Mississippi have got picnic tables, see how much it snowed this week. Anyway, y'all stay warm, you stay dry. No sense in telling you to take kids to a farmer's market or garden center because there ain't nothing going on this weekend. It just could be time to hunker down. Stick with us, folks, because we'll be back same time, same place here on MPB talking about gardening every Friday and every Saturday. Tell some folks about the YouTube channel, too, because they can do that anytime they get a hankering. Anyway, Java, y'all stay cool. Stay warm and dry. And we're going to be talking about gardening this time next week. Meanwhile, see you on Mississippi Gardening YouTube or on mpbonline.org. Stay warm and dry.